Have you ever been in an intimate moment only to find that the penis didn't become erect as expected? This happens more often than you might realize and can feel awkward. In this video, you'll learn practical steps for handling these situations calmly, with tips on maintaining confidence and intimacy with your partner, even when facing such challenges. Remember, sexuality is about much more than penetration, and there are plenty of ways to make these moments meaningful and enjoyable. Before we move on, please like this video and make sure you're subscribed to our channel. We have a wealth of content with advice on relationships and sexuality, especially for those over 50, to help you experience a life filled with love and pleasure. It's important to understand that your masculinity isn't defined by the ability to achieve an erection. This is just one part of a man's overall sexual journey, not the entirety. Picture your sex life like a car, which has multiple components: the engine, tires, steering wheel, seats, radio, and so on. If one day a tire goes flat, does that render the entire car useless? Of course not. You simply replace the tire and keep going. The same applies to your sex life. If an erection doesn't happen one day, it doesn't mean you're not functioning as a whole. Erection issues can arise for many reasons: stress from work, family concerns, fatigue, or even a heavy meal. These factors can impact sexual performance, but have no bearing on your worth as a man. Remember that sexual satisfaction isn't solely about penetration. There are many ways to give and receive pleasure. Touch, kisses, caresses, oral sex, and more can be incredibly gratifying for both you and your partner. Here's a little secret: most women don't see a lack of erection as a major issue, as long as you stay present and connected. Often, it's our own insecurities that make it seem more significant than it is. Women appreciate intimacy, emotional connection, and the effort to provide pleasure in different ways. Imagine being at a party, tripping and falling. Naturally, you might feel embarrassed, but if you get up confidently and continue enjoying yourself, it becomes a small, humorous moment. The same principle applies to sex. When an erection doesn't occur, it might feel like a big deal, but there are ways to handle it naturally and calmly. When you notice the erection isn't happening, the first thing is to stay calm. Anxiety will only make the situation feel more intense and uncomfortable. Take a deep breath and avoid letting stress dominate the moment. Just as in any situation, how you react can shape the experience. Don't focus on forcing an erection. Instead, take the opportunity to create a relaxed, enjoyable environment. Remaining calm helps to foster a sense of trust and ease, allowing you to stay connected with your partner. Trying to ignore the problem or becoming anxious can create unnecessary strain. Be open in a light-hearted way. You could say, "It looks like we're having a bit of a technical issue today, but let's enjoy each other in other ways." This can ease the pressure and help set a more relaxed mood. Use this time to explore different kinds of pleasure, focusing on gentle touches and affectionate gestures. The idea is to keep the connection and create a pleasant experience for both. If you can, add some humor to lighten the mood. There's no need for jokes, but a positive attitude can turn an awkward moment into one you can both look back on with a smile. When faced with a situation where an erection isn't happening, remain calm, be honest, and find ways to enjoy the moment. What matters most is how you approach the challenge, using it to deepen the bond with your partner. Think of it like playing a board game and the main piece suddenly breaks. Rather than giving up, you find a new piece or shift your strategy, continuing to enjoy the game. When an erection doesn't occur, it's like that main game piece breaking, but there are plenty of other ways to keep the fun going and ensure pleasure continues. A great option is oral sex, where you use your mouth and tongue to bring pleasure to your partner. Many women reach climax through oral sex, and it can be an incredibly intense and satisfying experience. This involves exploring her body with your tongue, and every woman responds differently, so pay attention to her reactions and adjust accordingly. Start with gentle, slow touches, exploring various areas and noticing her responses. Don't worry about following a set pattern. The key is to be attentive to her reactions and adapt your approach. If she appears to enjoy a specific type of touch or movement, keep exploring that area. An additional effective way to provide pleasure involves using your hand's manual stimulation of both the clitoris and G-spot are satisfying options. The clitoris, as a highly sensitive area, can lead to intense orgasm when properly stimulated. For G-spot stimulation, which is located within the vagina, use your fingers to gently explore, paying attention to how she reacts. The emphasis here is on gentleness and on adjusting to her responses and preferences as you try these alternatives. The objective is to create a pleasurable and connected experience using touches, caresses, and nonverbal communication to make sure your partner feels comfortable and satisfied. Even in situations where an erection isn't present, the goal is to keep the moment positive. Think of it like playing a card game, where even if the hand you're dealt isn't ideal, you still play to the best of your ability without offering justifications. During intimate moments when an erection doesn't happen, focusing on the experience itself, rather than offering explanations, is often best, as this can help reduce tension. Although it might feel natural to want to explain the situation, doing so may end up causing greater discomfort. Statements like, "I'm nervous," or "This has never happened to me before," can lead to increased anxiety for both you and your partner. Rather than explaining, try focusing on the pleasure you can still share, turning attention to other forms of intimacy. This can help foster a more relaxed atmosphere, showing that you are dedicated to enjoying the experience together. If you do feel compelled to speak, keep it brief and positive. Saying something like, "Let's focus on other forms of pleasure and see what we can enjoy together," can shift the focus to the shared experience without creating feelings of guilt or embarrassment. By remaining calm and concentrating on mutual pleasure, the moment feels more natural and enjoyable, allowing both of you to stay focused on the experience rather than on any explanations. If an erection isn't present as expected, oral sex offers an excellent way to ensure the experience remains pleasurable for both partners. This method involves using your mouth, tongue, and lips to stimulate your partner, which can be very effective. To begin, start with gentle and exploratory touches, using your tongue to caress the area around the clitoris and vulva. Pay attention to her reactions to understand what she finds most pleasurable. If she seems relaxed and content, continue what you're doing. If she shifts position or makes a different sound, it may be a sign to adjust your technique. Variation is essential in oral sex. Avoid sticking to just one approach. Experiment with different movements of your tongue and lips, alternating between softer and firmer touches, or switching between circular and straight motions. Observing her reactions helps determine what works best for her. Alongside stimulating the clitoris, you may also explore other areas around the vulva, as well as the inside of the vagina, with your tongue. This offers a different sensation that many women find pleasurable. If she seems to be responding well, continue exploring these areas. Communication during oral sex doesn't have to be verbal. Perceiving your partner's reactions and adjusting your approach based on those cues is an effective form of nonverbal communication. If you observe that something is working well, maintain that rhythm. If her reaction suggests it is not as pleasurable, adjust your technique. The purpose of oral sex is to provide pleasure and ensure the experience remains special. Being attentive and adaptable allows you to offer a highly satisfying experience, even without a full erection. When the penis isn't functioning as expected, exploring new stimulation techniques can significantly enhance the sexual experience and create a stronger connection with your partner. Experiment with different types of touch using your tongue and lips, adjusting pressure and rhythm based on her responses. Instead of adhering to one method, observe how subtle changes in touch can increase pleasure. This can involve both gentle and firmer touches, depending on what she appears to enjoy most. Breathing also has a considerable effect. Try synchronizing your breathing with the rhythm of your movements. Deep and controlled breathing while stimulating creates a more intimate and immersive experience. Aligning touch with breathing intensifies the moment, allowing you to combine various stimulation techniques to increase pleasure. Use the tip of your tongue to trace patterns around the clitoris and vulva, then switch to broader tongue movements. This variety keeps the experience engaging and may heighten pleasure. Observing her reactions closely enables you to adjust your touch and breathing accordingly, helping you to adapt your technique for maximum pleasure. These practices can turn the moment into a meaningful experience, even when erection difficulties arise, offering alternative ways to provide pleasure and reinforcing the connection between you. Thank you for watching today's tips on handling erection issues and exploring alternative forms of pleasure. Have you been in a similar situation before? How did you approach it? Feel free to share your experiences or leave questions in the comments so we can continue this valuable conversation. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. This helps YouTube understand the relevance of our content, reaching more people who may benefit. Also, if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications. This ensures you won't miss any updates and stay informed about our latest videos. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.